Morning. I'm taking a little risk here, and I've been thinking about sharing some of my thoughts for quite a while, but what always puts me off, especially with video format, is the amount of time it takes to do the editing and create something polished. So I'm going to instead just try making things that are a little more raw. And there's a train in the background now, so that might be the first thing we need to change. But I want to try experimenting with a couple of different formats. We're going to put myself out there and see what works. And I'd really love your feedback. I want to create things that are useful. I want to create stuff that's engaging, but I want to do it in a way that it's real and it's raw and unscripted. So yeah, please tell me what you think, and let's dive straight in. So first of all, a little background on me. I have been working in technology, consulting, whatever you call it, solutions engineering for about 20 years. I've been doing a mixture of hands-on work and I guess for the last probably 15 to 20 years, actually, I've mostly been working in more of an advisory role where we're helping customers to make technology decisions. And now I'm working at Glean, but the content that I put out here is not related to my work. It's not sponsored by my company. And I want to really focus on some things that are not necessarily directly related to our product. Maybe sometimes I will talk about things to do with our product, but I want to talk about things that are much more high level and useful regardless of whether you use Glean or other tools. So let's just jump into it. There's a topic that has triggered me to do this, which is something that a friend of mine asked me about the other day. They work in a consulting organization as well, and they work with financial services customers. And they said, what are large enterprises doing in order to get their arms around all of this innovation with enterprise software? You know, everybody seems to be getting on the Claude Code bandwagon, and they can build the software apps that they need in a couple of days. And is it the case that everyone's just going to build their own software now and we won't need enterprise SaaS vendors? How do larger organizations manage all of that innovation? And I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you what I've observed from customers that I work with. It's very clear to me when I see them, the ones that have got a clear, focused strategy and are making great progress towards their goals, and the ones that are kind of spinning their wheels a little bit. So I just want to share a little bit about what I see as some of the good practices and some of the things maybe not to do. So the first thing I would suggest is think about it from a process perspective about how we innovate and bring in new technology to an organization. A lot of these things don't change from all the things that we've done before. And so the first thing is we have this amazing new technology, AI, and we want to enable innovation. We want to enable people to try new things. We don't want to discourage it, but we want to make sure that they're doing it in a safe way that's not exposing our organization to unnecessary risk. So the first thing that I've seen that is a good practice in my book is making sure that people who want to innovate with AI in your organization have access to the tools that they want to use and that they're provided by you. Okay, so that means that you can provide them along with all of your security controls, all of your governance controls. And now my dog is chirping up and probably going to ruin this for me. But so we want to make sure that you're providing those tools with all of the right data governance controls and security, and they're not going out and using the latest random open source project that has security holes and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, you can't lag behind and be too cautious, because otherwise these people are just going to go out there and they will go and use the tools anyway. So you have to get the balance right. And it's so important that you enable that innovation. The next thing is we want to nurture those people. So there's lots of different names for this. I like to call it a champions network. Ideally, you want to identify people who are the early adopters in every single department, not just IT. It needs to be in every business function. Cross-functional is really key here. And we want to identify the people who are going to be the ones who come up with the new ideas, the ones who experiment with the new technologies, because they're the people who are going to uncover the next way that innovation with AI is going to transform your industry or your business. And so creating a community around those people so that they can talk to each other, discuss ideas, set up shared Slack channels or shared Teams channels, but go beyond that. Get them together in real life, get them together on regular video calls so they can share ideas and get people to start sharing their good practices with each other so that they can make each other better and feel like they're part of a community. People will want to come and continue working for your company if they feel like they're growing. And for these people who are the innovators, if you want to attract them and retain them, then you have to create an environment that they can grow in and feel like they are making progress every single day. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, once you've got a load of these innovation projects going and everyone is knocking down your door saying, I've got a new use case for AI, or I've built this little proof of concept, it's amazing, it's revolutionized my work. Next, we have to think about how do we assess what they've done, figure out whether it fits in with our business and technology strategy, and then how do we make it so that everybody in the organization who could benefit from it does. And so you need some sort of intake process, some sort of way of capturing the innovation when it's still early on, at the point where it's starting to be proven. I think of this sometimes as little seedlings. You throw a load of seeds on the ground, and then as the plants start to sprout, you want to find the strongest ones and nurture them, put them in their own pot and give them the best conditions so that they can grow. And so you need a process for identifying that, and the Champions Network is really important for that, because that's going to allow you to... Another train. So the Champions Network is really important for that, because those people are going to be the ones, especially if they're in cross-functional teams, who will be able to identify some of those projects and bring them back through that those communications channels that you've already created. And once you've got your intake process going and you've selected which projects are going to be the ones that you're going to focus on, then it really becomes about, how does that fit in with enterprise architecture? And this then comes down to engaging your standard IT functions, really, of enterprise architecture, security, those sorts of folks, because we need to make sure that it fits in with the company strategy, that it doesn't overlap with other projects that are already being done in other places, that the way that it's being built is scalable and secure, and it fits in with our procurement and partnership strategy with the vendors that we're using, all those sorts of things, all the things that enterprise architects have been doing for some time for us. And if you don't have these kinds of mature functions in your organization because you're a little smaller, go and use AI to learn about them, because these things are going to be really important in helping you to adopt this innovation. And then finally, as more and more of these projects start to grow and you start to see value in them, you will start to realize that there's new infrastructure that you need. Everyone's got some amount of cloud in their organization today, and 10 or 15 years ago they didn't have any, and they started small and they gradually added more and more. And it's going to be the same with AI. There's a whole new category of different infrastructure you need to be able to run production agents at scale. And I wouldn't suggest that you go out and buy it all and set it all up first. You can gradually grow into it as you start to scale and experience new problems that you need to solve. Some examples of this are agent sandboxes so that agents can securely execute in different environments. It might be that you want to start to standardize on an agent ops platform, have a standardized message bus for how your agents communicate with each other, start to get more standardized about how you manage agent identity and permissions. One thing that you might want to do pretty early on is figure out a standard way for connecting to all of your enterprise data sources. This is one area where Glean does work, and when you start an agent project, for example, every single time you start a new project, typically people are making all the decisions about the technology, the networking, the security. And so if you can standardize all that sort of stuff early, then you'll probably find that your innovation flywheel gets going much faster. So those are just some ideas. I don't want to talk for too long, but please do let me know if you find this useful. I will try to produce more of them. I'll try other formats. I'll try it maybe without the trains in the background. And we'll see where this channel goes. Let me know what sorts of topics you'd like to hear about, and we'll take it from there. Thanks very much for making it this far.